see from him as he kind of kept getting things going for you?
Well, he had a strong finish to the third. He wanted to stay in there, and you just use your gut at that point.
Frank, just overall, these last 3 games now, heading in, the team's been on the road for a long time. What do you take out of this as you now head back to Los Angeles?
We're encouraged about who we're going to be this year. We've had eight of our first 9 games on the road in December, and we're 6-2 in those games. So, it's a long trip. I feel like we've been on the road forever. We'll be happy to go back and recharge the batteries and playing some games at Staples Center.
Earlier, you didn't. When we talked to you earlier, you didn't even know if AD would play, and he was warming up. Now 36 points. What does that say about him?
A heck of a gutsy performance. Playing on a sore ankle, 36 and 10 and 5. And great defense on one of the best players in the world. He's an unbelievably great player and showed a lot of grit and toughness. By playing through a sore ankle as well as he did tonight.
You called it a measuring stick for your habits coming in. What's your early feel for how you measured up?
Well, we outscored them 58-46 in the second half. We showed resiliency when we got down, and the 19 turnovers. That's the one area. Everyone says we're really clicking on all cylinders, really on, and the chemistry's happening quickly right away. But we're still turning the ball over too much. And that definitely hurt us. In the first half when we got down. Our reads weren't always sharp. We know we got to see the second side against this team, and try to force a few too many interior passes. But it's just one of the things we got to clean up.
You guys have been able to make up for the absence of Kyle Kuzma the majority of the year. Obviously, still a great record. Do you think his absence, when you look at the bench disparity tonight, was something that you felt?
Yeah, no doubt. We definitely missed Kyle tonight, and really on this whole trip, our guys have been playing, really, really well off the bench. Game after game, our bench plus minus is usually above the other teams. Tonight they struggled, you know what I mean? And, when they're struggling and the starters are playing as well as they were, in terms of Danny and Kenny, Kentavious, we ride those guys a little bit longer. So part of that's minutes. It's not all, that they didn't score or produce, but they played less minutes tonight.
You made it past mid-December without losing particular games until the night. It was a goal to do it the entire year, but how do you reflect on putting that carrot out and making a run in it?
We love many goals, many challenges like that. We try to keep us engaged, keep us locked in, and try to go the rest of the way without doing it again.
What were the biggest challenges they presented for your offense?
For our offense, they have great length at the basket. They're the number 1 team at swarming the paint. Every time you go in there. You're going to see a crowd, and you've got to make the right reads, when that happens. And they have great athleticism on the perimeter as well, similar to us. Rim protection, and if you throw it out, they got great speed to close out the shooters. But we just got to be a little bit better with our reads.
All right, here are the numbers for LeBron and Anthony Davis. LeBron with 21 points, 8 of 19. He had 12 rebounds and 11 assists, so LeBron ends up with a triple-double. Anthony Davis with 36. He played the entire second half. He was 0 for 6 from 3, but 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, and a valiant effort on that sore ankle. Let's go inside the Lakers locker room. LeBron is speaking with the media.
LeBron, that's...
And the Lakers lose consecutive games. You got to tip your hat to the Milwaukee Bucks. Guys, I think they just played better. They hit 16 threes. Their bench was outstanding. They outscored the Lakers bench 34-4, 21 points by George Hill.
Yeah, I was expecting a big blowout, 25, 30-point blowout. Was really impressed with the fact that they were able to hang in there, and despite those a couple of turnovers there, they had a shot to kind of stay in the game. But
James down 21 at one point in the second quarter.
Down 21. I think the biggest lead the Lakers had was probably 3, but to fight back with a poor shooting performance from 3, as well as, Milwaukee had 14 steals. The Lakers had a ton of turnovers. But they were right there in the game, but it just wasn't theirs from the beginning. Milwaukee had too much energy, shot the ball very well from 3. The deficit was just tough to come back on the road.
Yeah, road life is tough. And at the end of a road trip, as a player, you underestimate the importance of really practicing and taking your body through those game-like situations. And so when you're out on the road, Lakers a veteran team, practice time being limited, guys in and out of the lineup due to injuries, AD out, no shoot-arounds to try to get rest for guys because you're shorthanded. It's just hard to then go out there and turn it on and be able to move at that game speed. Milwaukee was able to do it, and they had a better energy about them right from the start.
Yeah, and you saw it.
Yeah, Lakers 3-2 on this road trip. And any other year in the last several years, you say, that's pretty successful. But this has a little bit of a weird taste because if AD plays in Indiana, they win that game. If they get better bench support tonight, they have a chance at winning this game. So a good trip, 3-2, not bad, but just a few little things missing. They've got to get some bench offense going. Too many guys. I think the bench guys combined for 74 minutes tonight to get only 4 points out of that. Not enough production.
And that was 4 points in the first half.
Yeah, score in the second half.
Great point. Fish, sometimes as a coach, you'll have a loss like this, and you never want to lose, but you will say to your staff and maybe your team, I like seeing this, and now we can look where we need to get better. They exploited this. They exploited that. We looked weak here. And it's just a game in December, but it makes you take a look at certain things, correct? Is this one of those
things? For sure. The coaches are always looking at the things that the team needs to improve in, they need to tighten up on. Oftentimes, it's hard to get that message through to the players when you're winning consistently. They hear it differently. After a couple of losses, human nature allows you to be more receptive. You're a little bit more humble. You've been pushed back a little bit. Now they'll hear things from the coaching staff a little differently over the next couple of days as they prepare to get back home and get themselves back on the winning track.
Guys, let's talk Giannis, the reigning MVP. You got to give him a lot of credit. He just had that look tonight, big game. Like this game mattered, and this matchup mattered a lot. Career high 5 threes, and when he's pulling up and hitting those threes,
yeah, he was.
It's impossible to stop.
You could tell he was excited.
34-11 and
anticipated, this matchup against the West Coast best team, similar record, AD. So, yeah, he's young, he's energetic, he still has a lot to prove in his mind after winning MVP last year. He wants to go on and win for Milwaukee. So, right out of the chute, man, you could see he was on fire with energy. I mean, as far as energy is concerned, he had about 80% more energy than anybody on the floor. And the rest of his teammates just picked up on that. And, from that point, they just created a deficit for the Lakers that was difficult to come back on.
Yeah, as you can see, this is not really Giannis's game, drilling threes like he's Kyle Korver in his heyday. I mean, that's something we don't really see from him. Anytime it's a career night for the opponent and the MVP, it happens to be that guy. That's trouble for your team. Lakers, no real rest for the weary. I mean, they have a few days off. They have Denver at Staples on Sunday. And a couple days after that, Clippers, Lakers on Christmas. And then the Lakers go to Portland. So they can't say, all right, good, we got a home game against a team that's struggling. That's not really going to happen. So they do have a few days off. It's good. They can collect themselves after, seems like they've been on the road for weeks, guys. I mean, it's been a long, strange trip, but 3-2 it is.
Back to Giannis and just what you saw from him tonight, like as you've watched him, Fish, coached against him, and just the way his game seemed, and LeBron said this yesterday, he's growing each year.
Yeah.
And he's becoming better each year.
Yeah, no, it's we did the Rankum segment earlier, and it's why just a little bit I felt like he had the edge still as the reigning MVP. The motor that he plays with, and we're shocked to see LeBron still have the motor he has at this point in his career. AD obviously plays at a high level every night, but this young man right here, he's a guy that hasn't had his opportunity to eat at the table yet. He hasn't sat down with
he's at the kids' table.
The greatest of all time.
Come over here.
And that hunger and that passion, like James mentioned earlier, like he wanted to show tonight on the big stage in front of everybody in the world.
It meant more to him, for sure.
That I'm just as good as these guys. I look up to LeBron. I respect LeBron. I respect AD. He's a humble guy. But he went out there to prove that he feels like he's the best player on the court, and he was able to lead his team to victory.
If this is the first game of the trip, there might have been a different outcome. You just don't know. The Lakers,
different energy for sure, right?
Different
to start
energy.
At least.
Yeah, it seemed like the Lakers were a step slow in that first quarter, maybe even the first half. You know, the Bucks had 10 threes in that first half, really put the Lakers in that deficit, and they just never quite recovered. They made it close, made it interesting, but fifth game of the trip, if it was the first game, maybe it's a little bit different outcome.
There's something to be said about a player when he realizes that he's good and that he can't be stopped. You know, he spent the first 5 years being humble, deferring a lot, figuring out the game, watching these other